Hello, greetings after a while, right? I've been offline for quite some time, but that is because of some developments. Today, I want to tackle something that is very critical, and that is overthinking, right? Just overthinking. It's very common that we fall in thought patterns, and sometimes it's pretty annoying because you can't have a peace of mind. Okay, your monkey mind keeps jumping from one thought to the other, and there are very useful strategies that I know of, okay, which have helped me personally, and I want to share them with you. So let me start by saying that you live in your mind more than you know it, and added to that, you get lost in your mind more than you even think of it. Even sometimes when you're conscious about thoughts that are happening in your mind and you want to take control, all right, you might for a minute say to yourself that, hey, I don't like where this is going, so let me try to control my thoughts, all right? And then you stop momentarily and you try, to control your thoughts. And then it works for maybe like 20 seconds before you find yourself again getting engrossed in that world of thoughts. Thoughts are not necessarily bad things, but as humans, we have a tendency of falling into negative thinking so much, and it steals our peace of mind. Anyway, why am I saying this? I believe everyone already knows this, but not everyone knows how to deal with overthinking and negative thinking. And so very quickly, I want to share with you these strategies that I have used for several years now, and they have helped me to calm down my mind and be at peace, all right? Like I said in one of my videos about transmuting energy, when you lessen the number of thoughts that cross your mind, all right, you tone it down, then it's more like you're conserving energy, okay? You are not going to spend a lot of energy because the brain uses a lot of energy in processing thoughts. So when you learn to master that flow of thoughts inside your mind, then you are going to use that energy elsewhere. And because I have not scripted this approach, I'm just going to give it straight from my mind about how I know it. And the first strategy that I use is paying attention to the many I's, all right? I, okay, when you say I am, all right? So in the book, In Search of a Miraculous, all right, I'll share the link in the comments below. The author of this book said something that was very interesting, and it piqued my mind, that inside us, all right, there are many I's, all right? There is an I that is greedy, all right? There is an I that is humble. There is an I that is prideful. There is an I that is very gluttonous, all right? Wants to eat every time. So basically, you're not simply one person that is, who you think you are, but sometimes you shift your personalities, okay? Sometimes you become Mary somewhere, all right? You have personalities of a different person, and another times you have different other personalities. So we should not make the mistake that we think that we are constantly the same person. But this happens because different I's come to the surface. Sometimes it's the prideful I, all right? Or sometimes it's the greedy I that comes to the surface, or sometimes it's the egocentric I that comes to the surface, all right? And so what this author says is that we are made up of many I's which come to the surface of the mind, all right? These are simply desires, different desires that come to the surface of the mind in the form of I. And it's more like they want control of the throne, all right? Picture that in your mind is more like a throne, and you're the king, and sometimes one eye comes to seduce you and try to tell you of its importance. And if it convinces you, then it takes the throne, and then it takes the driver's seat, and then another eye also comes to the surface and tries to overtake this eye from the throne. And so picture in your life just in what way sometimes these eyes come to the surface. You might just be, chilling, and then an eye comes to the mind that, hey, it would be great to go and get the chocolate right now and eat it, right? And it's a desire, all right? It's an I, all right? If you see it as an I that is coming to the surface, an I that associates with food is coming to the surface and wants to convince you and take the throne and drive you to go and get that food from the fridge, all right, despite the fact that you're full, then you're identifying with that I. And sometimes it's even gossip, all right? There's an I inside of you that wants to gossip about others and the negative things that you see about others. And so it starts telling you the negative story about this person, and you can easily fall to that temptation. But if you notice, if you see yourself as the master on the throne and you see these many eyes, all right, each trying to tell you its story, then you're able to stop them before they can convince you. And so, for example, when you're feeling a lack of confidence, you need to check that what I is on the throne and, dethrone that I. And once you've done that, another I will try to take over the throne, all right? So just put them on the side and be the master of the throne. Just say that, hey, I see you, I see you, I see that I see that I, but I'm not giving them the driver's seat. And now to the second strategy that you can use to avoid overthinking or negative thinking is, I call it sorting and shelving, all right? You sort and you shelve. It's more like, your mind, it's more like a library, all right? And imagine a library where it's so cluttered with so many books, all right, with the resources from the 90s and 80s, all right, and in the 2000s, right, even currently, right? So it's a library of just so many materials, and some of them are just old and outdated and outdone, and yet they still come to the surface as something that is relevant, and they use up your mind, because the mind works more like a computer, right? If the memory is filled up, you'll need to clear some of the baggage and create some free space or even some RAM memory, all right? If you know computers, you know about the RAM memory where the applications, run, all right? And so the sorting and shelving technique is something that I do every day, all right? Every morning when I wake up to do my morning routine, that is, I take a look into my mind and I sort all the thoughts in order of importance. Just look at some of the thoughts that are coming from past events, for example, of yesterday or last week, and they're still coming today, right? They are not relevant, all right? So you just need to start each day on a clean slate. Just check that what thoughts do I have from yesterday and now and even from last week, and now recognize that which ones are important thoughts, which are things that really need attention, all right? You might find that out of 100, only maybe 4 thoughts are things that are important and need your attention, and out of this, again, you might find that maybe 10 are averagely important, but they're not that urgent. And so the rest, which is more like 70%, all right, they're not important, and so they're simply draining your energy. They're using up a lot of RAM and memory and storage space and even electricity. And so you say that, hey, for all of this baggage, I'm not going to pay attention to them. I need only these thoughts, all right? And out of the less important ones, the average ones that we're talking about, you can say that, hey, for this, I can take as much as I want, and so maybe in 2 days, all right, eventually I'll find a way to sort them. And so the focus will mainly be on these 4, all right, the 4 important thoughts. And because this is just your time of sorting out, you're simply going to schedule a time when you're going to have to deal with them, all right? Some things are better dealt with at the time when they will be happening, all right? You don't need to worry yourself your entire day. You can say, for example, during the lunch break, I'm going to deal with X, all right? Or in the evening when I'm back from work and I have sorted out all the work issues, all right? And so you just need to schedule the right time that you'll be dealing with them. And once you've scheduled the right time to deal with them, then you don't let them bother you. Whenever they come to the surface, just say to them that, hey, I had already set a time to deal with that, and I will deal with it when that time comes. So I'm not engaging in that, pattern of thoughts again, all right? And this, just keep on sorting, and just make sure that by the time you get up from your sorting routine, everything is in its own place, all right? The library is well sorted out, and there isn't just so much baggage all over that, could triple you over. And now to my third strategy of stopping overthinking and negative thoughts, I call it breath breaking. This is something that I became aware of, all right, simply out of my regular observations, that a thought forms in that cycle between, the in-breath and out-breath, all right? So when you take a breath in and out, during that period, you'll find that different thoughts often chip in, okay? You might find 3 thoughts, all right, forming within that one cycle of breath. And when you hold on to a thought, or when you hold on to many thoughts in different breath cycles, then you find that the more you breathe in and out, the more you empower them, all right? And in most cases, you find that most of these thoughts are just negative thoughts. And so you find that within a bunch of 10 thoughts that, have attacked you, like 9 out of 10 are simply negative thoughts. So from this, I picked a technique that I be conscious of my breath, and whenever I breathe in, I make sure that I only have one thought, and that thought must be a positive thought, all right? And whenever I breathe out, I hold on to the same positive thought and block any negative thought that might try, to camouflage with this positive thought and, force its way in. And you'll find that if you're simply conscious about one thought within each and every breath, all right, you hold on to one positive thought for like 3 cycles of breathing in and out, all right, and you block out any other negative thoughts that might try to force its way in, then this positive thought gets reinforced in your mind. Eventually, also, you develop the will to block out negative thoughts. So the breath breaking technique involves being aware of your breath and counting in, all right? Have a pattern of breathing. Don't just breathe haphazardly, all right? You can have a 1, 2, 3. That is for in, and then 1, 2, 3 for breathing out. And don't rush it, all right? Just have a slow and steady breath, and within each breath, make sure that you're stopping any negative thoughts that might be coming through. In most times, you'll find that the negative thoughts will still find their way in, but make sure that whenever you're breathing in, if a negative thought comes in, by the time you're breathing out, you've already cut it out. Because like I've said, if you hold on to thoughts within different breaths, it's more like by breathing, you're giving them more life. And that is the breath breaking technique. Try to master these 3 strategies, and good luck with that. I would love to know what you have to say, or if you have any strategies that you use for yourself, then feel free to share in the comments. And if you have not liked the video, be sure to like and also subscribe, all right? Let's have a community of people sharing some positivity, okay? And that is it for now. Have a great time, and I hope to see you in my next video.